going on, people? We're back with another episode of Behind the Brand, as we're calling these little segments. And I'm back with yet another friend of mine. I know it seems to say that every week. I've got a lot of friends that are doing a lot of good things. This time, I'm with Cara Chance from Virtue School of Gymnastics. Stepping away, like I said, that we will be doing from like just the normal football things that maybe you're used to seeing from us. Obviously, this is a gymnastics side, but a lot of the different things and the way that they affect the community and the people that they work with kind of interlink. So it would be good to see how there's comparisons, even with football, but also just a general journey. And that's what these are about. So first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I know it's hard to convince some of my friends to come on here because they get a bit nervous about this kind of setting, but honestly,
can't say no to a friend.
There you
Lucky.
go. I appreciate that. I know you said you've had offers to be in these situations and that. So I understand that like some people are not even comfortable talking about themselves or their businesses. And I mean, when people talk about their business or whatever they're passionate about, like realistically, when they get into that, they can just talk forever. So ultimately, that's what this is.
Okay.
And I know that like people don't, and that's probably like an English thing. Like people don't like to almost brag about, almost brag about like their successes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's almost what this is. I'm almost forcing the people that I'm bringing on the show to
be proud.
Yeah, be proud. And even if it's not them bragging themselves, it's me telling them that what they're doing is good. Because again, you're here because you've got a big presence in Reading, and I'm sure outside of Reading as well. Obviously, I only know Reading because I'm here. I'm sure you know a lot more of the clientele that you have, like throughout the UK or wherever they come from. Wherever they come from, but and I say this because, and this is a thing that I noticed from my last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that the people that are inside their businesses realise the kind of buzz that's around what they're doing.
Oh, 100%. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah? You don't really notice it. Like, obviously, you just see the day-to-day work and maybe see the same people that you interact with, but you probably don't even realise, especially with social media and stuff and Instagram. Obviously, you're heavy on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's not just you. It's not just the stuff that you post. It's what other people post and that we see. Like, even today, for instance, was there people that were, like, competing in some show or something?
Yeah, we had nationals today.
There you go.
Yeah,
see, and now I saw that. It wasn't through, like, Virtue's Instagram. It was through other people that I know, and it's like their daughters
kids,
and their nieces and whatnot that are doing a show and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
they did really well.
Yeah?
They smashed it. I think we came away with 9 medals overall.
Okay, what is it? And that was just gymnastics? What was this?
So at Virtue, we don't just do gymnastics. I know we're called Virtue School of Gymnastics, but we do other disciplines. So we do gymnastics and we also do aerobics.
Okay. And
today was an aerobic competition. So it was in Wales, it was in Cardiff.
Wales. Okay.
Yeah. And it was a national competition. So it was like the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
And obviously we've had the lockdown and stuff, so we were really, really pleased with the results. Yeah.
So what, they haven't really been doing shows and stuff like that because of lockdown? They're just starting to get back into it?
Yeah, all the events have sort of been cancelled for near on 2 years.
So you're just getting back into it?
Yeah. So
first one, or you've had other ones recently?
We've had like a few virtual ones.
Okay.
Which was obviously a bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the first. We had the British in, I think it was August, September. So we had the British. And then we've just had the Welsh, so we finished the year on 2 pretty big nationals.
Good.
Which was good. So as well as obviously gymnastics and aerobics, we also do parkour. We sort of wanted to make it more of a community club. So
the parkour thing, like that's a big thing now as well. It's a big thing, and obviously I've seen the setup that you have in your gym.
Good setup.
It is a good setup, but I personally don't know of anyone that has anything remotely like that. Like,
no, I don't think there is anyone that's has a dedicated space to parkour. Like I think there's a few other gyms that will say like we offer parkour classes, but it's very much more like
they're just making do with whatever.
Yeah, it's more like freestyle gymnastics. Yeah. But yeah, ours is, we definitely have. It was really important to me to have like a dedicated space area for them because to me that's just as important as gymnastics or aerobics.
Sure.
But I think in lots of other gyms they sort of almost get sidelined as like an additional extra, but to me it's just as important.
I mean it obviously just keeps that kind of inclusion. Obviously you can attract different people. I mean I don't know of any, but I don't suppose they have any like disciplines or anything in parkour as such, so the fact that you have like, you know, like even the events or whatever that you have on today where people are training for them continuously, but then the parkour side of it is more like a recreational thing, I assume, right?
Well, they do have competitions actually, but yeah, generally it's more recreational, but I think, there's some pretty big competitions, like there's Red Bull and stuff, they do a really big competition. And I hope one day we'll be able to sort of like take some kids to big parkour events. And I don't think it's that far off. We've got a few talented individuals, so
they've got a place to train and get better at least. That's the whole point of it, right?
It's really cool.
That's the whole point.
It's really cool.
It's good. No, it's good to see that kind of. Right now, obviously, the gym that you've recently opened, which we'll obviously talk about, it's good to see that kind of final product, if you like, from a lot of the hard work
I know
you put into it.
You sort of helped. Like, I sort of asked for your help in some of the
stuff. Originally, obviously, with the first building that you were looking at
that we pulled out of. Thank God we did, because this one's so much better.
Yeah.
And then, you really helped actually with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously that was just looking at like the plan side of it, because, I mean, to be honest, people don't even know
what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I really knew.
Yeah,
really, until I got into it.
That's true.
Like, even that's a nice building. I'll have it.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months to a year of project management was had to learn a lot.
You did learn a lot. Because I remember like when we initially were talking about it, and obviously there was just a lot of things that I guess naturally, if you've never been in that situation, you wouldn't consider. You wouldn't consider. So, but that's why it's good to have people around you that can help out. Obviously, I was there for the plans and stuff, but then I helped you, or you then look into different people that were like electricians and then the heating and all different sides that just all tie into it.
So much stuff, and I think when you go into like a big commercial property like that, the kind of people you deal with, obviously they've been doing it for years and years and years, and they just sort of presume
that you understand
what you're doing. And like I didn't go into it blind, but you have to go into it, I guess, really willing to learn. Yeah, that's the key. Because there's people that, and again, I know this from like my background in my field and what. So, again, people don't necessarily know my background or my day-to-day job, but I deal with plans, and I deal with plans of workspace and whatnot. But originally it was like houses, started off as houses, extensions, new builds and whatnot. And people, when they're coming to you or talking about the plans that they want to do for their house or extension or whatever they're working on, they are coming in as rookies. Like they have a vision, like they want it a certain way, but they don't understand the things that go into it. So they might say, oh, I want this and this and this, and then you have to, from an educated perspective, tell them, okay, that's nice, I get where you're going, but it means you got to do this, this and this. So I mean, I guess that's effectively where you were in the situation. You had a vision, but you just needed, effectively the direction. There's a lot of sleepless nights researching and like YouTube tutorials and stuff, and just speaking to people.
That's good.
Because you can't.
You have to be able to learn.
You can't be good at everything.
Yes.
And you have to adapt to evolve.
100%.
Like it's so important. So
100%.
We sort of went from owning 3 smallish gyms to one huge gym.
Yeah.
So it's going from almost like smaller properties to a commercial property. It's just,
To be fair, like,
big.
we started at the end of your journey. I did want to start from the start.
Oh, okay.
Before we go back to the start, again, just focusing on something that you mentioned, because it's really key. And it's good that you obviously acknowledge it, and people that don't acknowledge it, this is where their downfall is. But if you want to do something that's successful, you have to be willing to learn, willing to understand you don't know everything about it. You can't be good at everything. You obviously have your forte when it comes to the teaching side of things or whatever it is, and even vision. But you need good people around you to be able to make your vision come together.
Like
you can't just do it.
I definitely couldn't have achieved what I've achieved without like the team. The team's amazing.
Yes.
The team of coaches I've got is just, I can't thank them enough. But also like my friends. My friends have been phenomenal. Like even down to helping me choose colours or so it's so hard when you're so sucked into something. It's really hard to sort of like, you almost need someone to stand back and sort of help you out a little bit.
For sure.
Just get some advice and guidance and stuff. It's really important.
Makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to go back.
Go back to the start.
Right back to the start. So when I say the start, I mean like, obviously this is generally the main focus is gymnastics. Is that where you started? Were you into gymnastics as a child?
Yeah, so I was a gymnast pretty much my whole childhood, really.
What age you starting at? Because I know gymnasts, they start like young. I know there's
really young.
2-3-year-olds.
2-3-year-olds, yeah, we have 2-3-year-olds, and we can sort of spot, like talent spot from toddlers. So it's really important to, gymnastics in general is really good for younger kids, even if, even for a footballer, it's like really good to do gymnastics as well on top of that, because, they get agile, flexibility, it's really good, like balance, coordination. So it's a really good sport. But I actually started quite late.
Okay.
I started quite late. I was quite old for a gymnast to start.
What age is that?
I think I was probably about 8.
Okay.
Which is, it doesn't sound old to like everyone listening. Yeah. But in gymnastics world, that's quite old. That's quite a late start.
Okay.
And I think I got into it because I was always quite like agile and stuff, and I was always quite tomboyish. I was like climbing and stuff, and I broke my arm, and I had my arm plastered in a sling, and I was at school one day, and there was a girl I went to school with, and I can't remember her name now, but she was doing cartwheels in the playground, and I was like, I'm gonna try a cartwheel, and obviously I had my arm in plaster, and I did a cartwheel with one hand, and I remember this girl's mum said to my mum, like, you really need to get your daughter into gymnastics. And I think that's sort of how I got into it.
How you realised your talent?
Yeah, so I went to my first lesson. I think within the first 1 or 2 lessons, they were like, oh, she needs to go into the squad. So I went straight into squad.
Decent.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So would you say at that point that you just kind of enjoyed it, or is it just a world that just opened up that you didn't even understand that?
Yeah, I just loved it. I think it's such a cool sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely had some really, really amazing experiences, made some really amazing friends. They're like, the girls I used to train with, they're like my sisters. Because when you get to an elite standard, you're training near on 30 hours a week.
Right.
So you pretty much spend more quality time with your coaches and your gym sisters than your family. We sort of travelled the world together and had some super cool experiences, and it was really, really fun.
Good. So how did that progress then to the point of travelling the world and whatnot? So you got in around 8. That's kind of where you found that passion, and then you kind of got into
the squad,
and then got into a squad. So then how did things progress from there?
And then I just think it sort of naturally progressed. I did 2 disciplines. Well, actually, I think I'd done 3 disciplines at one point. So I did artistic gymnastics initially, which is, I guess, what you see on the Olympics, like vault, bars, beam, floor.
All right, yeah.
I did that. And then as I got a little bit older, I sort of, especially as the older you get for a girl, your body changes and stuff. So I think I got to about 16 and I sort of wanted to try a few other sort of disciplines. There's so many disciplines in gymnastics.
Is, from what I know.
So I tried team gym for a little while. I did aerobics for a little while. And then I think I stopped probably when I was about 17.
Okay.
I had an injury. Not related to gymnastics, funny enough, but I had an injury outside gymnastics, and it sort of prevented me continuing.
Okay.
So I sort of stopped at 17.
How did you feel about it then? Were you ready to take a break, or were you?
I think I found it quite tricky because that was obviously what I was going to do, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do then.
See, I mentioned at the start of this, about the kind of comparisons that there are with football, because it's funny, even that similar age, because we noticed that's the type of age group that you'd be with a football club maybe from 8, like you said, onwards, and then you get to that point and maybe you get released from that club.
And then you just don't know what to do because that was your whole focus. And I was pretty good at school, I got quite high grades, but I didn't really focus at school. I didn't particularly have a social life at school. My social life was the gym, so I didn't really go to any parties or anything like that. So I had friends at school. I wasn't a total loner, but my main social group was the gym. So when it sort of got almost taken away from me, I was a bit I don't really know what I want to do. And I'd always wanted to join the circus when I was growing up. That was sort of my dream, to be in the circus. It didn't happen. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had quite a good support network around me. I had physio and I went to psychologists and stuff, and it was really important. I think they were it's really important you just do something.
So how did you get in contact with a psychologist? Was that something that the team that you were working with before, or was that like something that parents encouraged? Like how did you get that support?
I think it was my doctor.
Okay.
I think we used to have a psychologist when we used to compete and stuff, like a sports psychologist, but I don't really think I ever used them. I think I just used the one, it was so long ago, I'm so old.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I think, it was just one the doctor referred.
Yeah, I was just trying to understand where the kind of support systems come from, because again, that was something that we mentioned in football, like when they come out of them, they don't really get that support.
I don't really think many people knew how I felt.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I didn't get a lot of support, but I don't think anyone really really understood. I didn't really vocalise it.
Yeah. I mean, you say people wouldn't understand, but I guess that's probably what the benefit of speaking to people is about it, because maybe people think that like, oh, nobody's going to understand, so I'm just not going to talk to anybody about it. I'm just trying to deal with it myself.
Yeah, I wish I sort of did vocalise a little bit more. But I definitely, my physio was really, really good.
Okay.
She was great. She was like, you need to get a job. Like, you need to just get a job. Just to sort of like, so what are your other talents? Because, you know, I didn't go to uni. Like, I was training and stuff, and that was my focus. I didn't necessarily stay on at school or anything. So, I went and did hairdressing because I was quite good at hair. So, did hair for a bit.
Well, at least you found something that you liked or enjoyed or whatever. Because, like you say, a lot of people that come out of something that they've been doing for years, they're just like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do.
You just feel a little bit lost.
I've got nothing else. Yeah.
And I found it really hard to go back into the gym. I used to go back and you know, pop in, see how everyone was doing and stuff. But it's really hard when you know you wanted to do something and you're not in that same place anymore, and you've stepped away from it. I found it quite hard to go back. So I didn't necessarily want to open up a gym until a bit later on in my life, when I was a little bit older, and I'd sort of got over that hurdle. So
when you say get over it, like get over that kind of questioning whether I should get back into it or not at that level, or
just like I found it really hard to want to train kids that love it when I love it, but I can't train.
Do it, yeah.
So,
that's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But as I sort of got older, and I had kids myself, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back into it. I went and worked at a few gyms around Berkshire, and then I was like, I can just do this myself. Yeah. So.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, again, I was thinking about another kind of comparison to, I guess, that transition of, again, and I'm comparing it to football.
Yeah.
In the sense of some people play and then they might get to a point where whether they have to finish their career, whether they're old or injured or whatever, and then they think, I'll get into coaching. But they still love the game. They might not be able to physically still do it, or might not love it playing in the same way.
And also sometimes I think it's really important to know that just because you were a good athlete doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a good coach.
Very, very different things.
It's very different things. So I think when I was younger, like in my early 20s, I probably wouldn't have been the best coach. Yeah. But as I got older and I matured, and then I had my little boy, I sort of understood kids a bit more.
How to interact with them now.
Yeah, and then I was a better coach. Yeah. So we have this thing of virtue. Like, I don't particularly like coach-centered coaches.
Fair.
As a director, I don't really want that kind of coach in my establishment. I would prefer to have like child-centered coaches. Yeah. Because the most important thing is the kids, not 100%. The results.
100%.
So, yeah, I definitely think I probably had more of that coach-centered mentality when I was in my early 20s. But then as I got older and I was like late 20s, early 30s, I think I definitely, progressed a bit more mentally into being a better coach.
Two things. That goes the other way around as well. Like, a lot of people have the misconception that if someone's a good coach, they were like a really good player or good gymnastic.
Not true.
That's really not the
Some
case.
Some of the best coaches I have met have never...
Yeah.
I can't even cartwheel.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Like, literally. There you go. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're good with kids, that, to me, that's the most important thing.
And so this was my second point. So obviously, I've done football coaching historically in the past and whatnot, and there's loads of different coaching courses and badges and stuff that I've done, which I've enjoyed. the best one that I'd done was a youth work course.
Yeah, 100%.
Youth work course. It was like a residential. We had to go into like Chester. It was again through Reading Football Club. Like it was all sorted through them. There was a few of us that went like residential. So we went and we stayed there with other people from different clubs, Middlesbrough, Tottenham, just people from all over the UK realistically. And we were just there, and it was just like a really kind of quite intense, but focused on youth club. So much, and it was really good. And yeah, like you said, the youth work side of it, or the focusing on the child and like their well-being and whatever.
Realistically, really the type of kids you get coming through your doors, realistically, it's probably the same in football actually. 0.0001% will make it.
Yeah, for sure. So
all of those other children, like, it's important that they have a good experience all round.
Exactly, and they take something from it. And that's another thing that I like. What we're kind of getting out of these chats, and it's good to see that you have that same mentality. Is that the whole aim of this is whether you go on to do something in gymnastics or not. Like, take something from these sessions, whether it's we're boosting your confidence or whether it's just whatever it is. Like, is there things that you aim to kind of encourage in your sessions other than just the physical side of gymnastics?
Confidence, 100% confidence, fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Especially at young ages and that as well, because that's what they care about really.
Movement. I think movement's really important.
For like mental health wise or just in general? And
just kids, I just don't think they move enough.
You're probably right now.
And I think movement's really, really important. It helps them focus. Yeah. So I think I would definitely encourage them more over medals or results, 100%. I think that's why we've got quite a good team, because our team all have that same approach.
Yeah, but that's key.
And we have lots of different people from different backgrounds. And like we said earlier, like, you don't have to be the best athlete to be the best coach. You know, you can learn the foundations of gymnastics. Yeah. But it's almost harder to teach someone to
be a personality.
And like actually care about kids.
That's it.
So one of our best team members we've got used to work in a nursery.
Okay.
And she is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so lucky that I've got her on my team, and we all of us have learned so much from her. Yeah. And she didn't do gymnastics when she was younger.
That's the key. Again, the key to success is just having, or even you having the ability to pick out the right people to come on this journey with you to make sure it works.
And she's been with us for about, I think it must be 3, maybe 4 years now, and great gymnastics coach. Yeah. She knows everything about gymnastics now. She's learned on the job. Her foundations are like on point. She understands prep. She understands, like who, what, why, where. She gets everything. It. Yeah, but having that installed in her initially, like her love for children and how important it is, and that sort of, was the same as on my ethos I want for the whole club. Yeah. It just made sense to get her in.
It's good, and it's good that you have this ethos, because you obviously have a vision and an aim when you're kind of interacting with these children in any way, shape or form. But I guess a lot of people don't in some situations. It's just a business. Okay, like I started a gym because if I get X amount of numbers, then I can make this much amount of money.
Yeah, it's not about money.
Exactly. If that's your focus, then you're not in it for the right reasons really. So
it won't work. Yeah. It won't be a nice environment to be in as an employee, or as a member, or even a parent. Like,
do you know what? It's just funny you say that, because I just thought of actually something. Like, I know a few people that I know actually work for a specific company that I won't name them.
They don't care.
They don't care. No, their full aim is make money, and their employees are there to be tools to make that money. So they were a relatively small company that grew very quickly, and like with their aggressive marketing, they are pretty huge, to be honest. But their kind of lack of respect for their employees is actually pretty disgusting.
Then that would transpire. You know, it would sort of
definitely
water down until the
100% into the actual service that they provide. Yeah, like so they don't. I mean, if you've got a happy workplace, then you're gonna have happy and productive employees and whatnot. And from the experiences I've had from people that I know that work there, they're not happy. So ultimately, they're not going to be doing their job to the best of their ability, and the company's going to suffer.
I think it's really important for any owner or director or manager, whatever you want to call it, that they understand that they, like, I work for my employees just as much as they work for me.
Yeah, fair.
I think it's really important. And I try really hard, and obviously sometimes it's hard and it's overwhelming, especially when you're growing so fast. But I think as long as that stays true in your heart, you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good,
I think it's
good personality trait. Good personality trait. So obviously we've touched on your team, but I guess going back to your journey, how do you then get from that team? You obviously mentioned at the start that you had kind of three separate kind of establishments that you had?
Yeah, so initially we just had one, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to start a gym. And it was just me on my own. And I think I had, 60 kids.
Okay, that's a lot.
But I just started an after school club, so I had, I don't know, 3 after school clubs.
Okay.
Like 20 kids in each, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just did that a couple of days a week. Not for very long. Well, you know me, I'm like constantly like, right, what's next?
Yeah.
What's my next goal? So yeah, I did that. I think I did that for like a few months. It wasn't very long. And then, yeah, it was literally like October, November, December, 3 months. I did that for 3 months. And then,
how can I grow?
Yeah. And then in the January, I was like, right, I'm going to turn it into a club now. So I just rented a school hall on, I think it was a Saturday or something. And then I was like, right, we're going to have like proper classes, like with equipment rather than just after school clubs. And then, yeah, we grew really quick. I think every 3 months I sort of added another day. And then, at some point I got too much for just me. I had to then have other people helping me, and then we eventually went from 1 venue to 2 and then to 3.
Natural growth.
Yeah, and we ended up having 3 teams of coaching, so I had to step away to sort of manage the company.
Yeah.
And
do you know what, that's hard as well, because again, even
really
in like my my industry and what I work with, like, so I had so the company I work for, we have offices worldwide, and my kind of direct manager at the time was like the manager of UK and Ireland, but then they stepped up. It was a woman. She stepped up and then was basically the manager of EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Asia. And when she made that transition, it was kind of hard for her to let go of just kind of the day-to-day stuff in the UK and Ireland. So it was like,
if anyone ever asked me like, what's the hardest thing about having a successful business, 100% is transitioning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't ever sit still in one job for very long, because you have to step up to the next sort of job role, and you have to keep going up. And every time your business is growing and you're keeping going up and changing your job role, you have to then learn that job role.
Yeah.
And you also have to delegate and trust people, which is why it's so important to have a good team that you trust and respect, and a team that also trusts and respects you.
Vice versa.
And they'll do things as you would like them done. But yeah, that first transition was really hard.
Good.
For me, that was the hardest.
But you learned lessons from it.
And actually now, the transition I'm going through now is really hard.
Okay.
And obviously there's been a few transitions in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first one and this one now, because we've obviously gone from 3 gyms to 1 huge purpose-built facility. I feel like I'm now having to go from being a manager to more of a director.
Okay.
So now we have like a manager and a gym manager and a gym supervisor.
All in one space.
All in one space. So yeah, that's tricky. I'm learning a whole new lot of skill sets.
And that's good. I mean, that's how it should be. Like, obviously, like you say, as you make that step up, you're learning the new skill sets. But again, it's learning on the job. The same way your kind of nursery teacher that's just learnt the kind of gymnastic side of things picked up different skills and added strings to her bow or whatnot. Like, you're doing the same thing as you go along. So
it is really tricky because everyone then goes up with you.
Yeah.
And you have to support them.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. But I think because we're a really good team and we all genuinely love each other and we generally share the same ethos in regards to what we want to get out of the gym for the kids, we'll get through it and it'll be absolutely fine.
That's the key.
It's just got, it's quadrupled in size, in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a big change. I always knew this change was coming,
but
in my head it was more a year down the line.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So you think it's blowing up now quick because of the new facility now?
Yeah, new facility, 100%. Yeah. We've just gone, quadrupled in size.
So is that because people were hearing about it now, or because you promoted it a certain way, or where is it coming from now?
I think it's a mixture of everything. I think one thing I'll say about my team, they're great. And they aren't scared of change.
Good.
Well, maybe they are scared of change, but I'm not, and I'm like, it's cool, like you guys can do it, like we can do it, and I think, I sort of install that confidence in them, because they're amazing. So I think during lockdown, we really stepped up.
Good.
And I think...
Had a lot of time too.
Yeah, I was like, straight away, lockdown happened Friday, I think we worked all weekend, the whole team worked all weekend to put together an online program. On the Monday, bam, online sessions every day.
Good. And
it's really important for us that everyone, the whole point of our gym is that it's inclusive. So we did sessions for free.
Okay, yeah.
Joe Wick's copied us. I'm not happy about that. We did sessions for free, so that everyone could join in. Yeah. Even if their parents might have lost their jobs, or and then we obviously then did our regular sessions. We just tried to keep the same timetable, which was really tricky, but we did it and I was really proud and we got through it. And then we had some special guest sessions, like we got some famous gymnasts in, and for us it's not really, well, for me personally, it's never really been about the money, so I'll happily spend money if it's going to help the community. So we put money into, at a time where everyone was losing money, we were like, it's just money, like
you definitely do have that.
I do have that attitude. You've seen that. So I'm like, cool. We'll get these people in, and they were great. Yeah. We had some Team GB gymnasts. We had some famous free runners. And we sort of tried to do one special guest session a week, and it was open to anyone. And we had people from America, South Africa, Egypt, joining our sessions. That was pretty cool. I think our Facebook went from 1,000 followers to 7,000 in a matter of weeks. That was really good. So I think that really, really helped. But the facility, having a purpose-built facility, 100% has helped, because not everyone knows gymnastics. Obviously, I don't know football. I don't know football. And you could have the best coaches ever teaching down the park, but a parent doesn't necessarily know those coaches are the best coaches, so they will send their kid to the best football club. Yeah,
some establishment they know of and that's respected or whatever.
So I think that kind of held us back a little bit, not having a purpose-built facility. And it's definitely been on my radar. But in my initial business plan, it was like a 10-year business plan. I have a gym in 10 years. And obviously we did it in 5, so that's pretty cool. But it 100% has helped, because I think parents think we're more established now.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, it's a real interesting point you make, to be fair, about the coaches that, some of the best coaches would be just on a normal grassroots level or whatever.
I know.
Because, that probably is the case. I know there's a lot of people that are in clubs, involved in, high-profile football clubs and whatnot, or whatever the field is, and they're probably not the best coaches. They're not the best, or they might be good coaches, they might know their stuff, but they're not good people persons. They don't have that same kind of ethos.
It's really hard not to get downhearted about it, because we've had Team GB gymnasts coaching for us pretty much since we've opened. And they've come from established gyms. And they work for us, and they really like it. So they see the difference. See, but
that's not my point. Not to cut you off, but like you're kind of merging that. Like you're finding that kind of talent and or creating that talent, even if there's things that are missing, and putting that into an established outfit. So like it's a winning formula.
Yeah, it is really hard not to get downhearted about that, but that's just life at the end of the day, and that's just people. And then when people don't know things about a certain sport, then obviously they're going to go with what they think is the best because it looks the best, and that makes sense. And I think people need to sort of like get over that. It's the same in any business. You know, you could be making candles, for example. They could be the best candles in the world. No one knows. No one knows, and you just got to keep going, and you just keep going for the right reasons, and then eventually it will get recognised.
Do you know what? This is going to sound really weird, but this is something that I can kind of relate to this. Literally last week I got an email from, so ages ago I bought something, I can't even remember what it was. It might have been like a lip balm or something from some like random company. They were like all like herbally.
You just like buying stuff. So.
Yeah, literally I just got sucked into something that I saw one day. But it was so like some like super like herbally lip balm. The people seemed like all earthy and stuff. It was
vegan.
Yeah, they had vegan versions and stuff. Not that I was vegan as such, but you know. But they had like vegan versions. But they just seemed like some sort of like, I don't even think it's like a family thing. It was just like a woman. She's obviously got a passion about this stuff, and she'd set up her business and she's selling that stuff. So I bought it at the time. And then like you buy it, I bought it, and then you get like a confirmation email, then you get like a thank you email, like thank you for supporting type
really
thing.
Nice.
It was really nice. So I'd always thought, okay, cool, I'm gonna order again from her. And she's kind of emailed me a few times, obviously just like she would do it for everyone. It's not just like personally just to me, but it feels personal, but that's just obviously
that's the important thing.
Exactly. That's I guess what I recognise and what I appreciate it, because every now and then she'll send an email just to almost like a reminder email, like I'm here and if you need anything, like, and here's a little discount code and stuff. So literally last week she sent the discount code and I thought, I'm gonna buy again from you because I just like
because the personal touches.
Exactly,
are so important.
It's little personal touches. She just seemed so genuine, and so I ordered some extra stuff as well because she got a lot more different ranges on there. I got like some face creams and all sorts, right? And I emailed her as well, and I was like, just to let you know, like, thanks for the discount code.
Appreciate
but
it, yeah.
As well, like, I really like your approach. Like, I don't know why, I don't know like what it is about it, because some of these like emails that you get from companies can just be annoying. It's like,
and that
it's like
probably
spam.
meant the world to her.
I mean, I'd like to think so, but I guess I done it just because if I was in her position, I would like that kind of feedback type thing. It would, and yeah, it might mean.
I think everyone should do that. I think everyone should send nice emails.
Yeah.
It's really hard when you'll know as well. People tend to only send emails if it's negative.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get,
true.
To get upset about it. So when someone sends you a really nice email, it literally makes your day.
Yeah. No, I bet. Yeah. So it makes sense. But to me, it was just like a little thing, and like you say, no one probably really does that. But like, I felt it. Like I appreciated her approach and how like her business model is, and just the genuine side of it. And that's literally what I messaged. I just like. Somehow you come across really genuine in your emails and whatnot, so just, I literally said, like, to keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, that's really sweet. Look at you. You're such a nice guy.
But my point is I can recognise the genuineness in her and
and she's doing it for the right reasons.
She's doing it for good reasons, it's really, like healthy stuff, and it's like environmentally friendly and whatever.
She's staying true to herself 100%. And to her passion.
100%.
I think that's, as long as people do that,
you can't really go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong, and people will notice it, people will gravitate towards it. It will be a success, and even if it's not like a big success, it's like you're being true to yourself,
and she will probably be happier as a person. It's really hard, especially in this day and age, not to get sucked into society's expectation.
Yeah.
And you can, you can have a job, and if money's important to you, that's fine, crack on, but. If you feel like you're missing something, then just follow your passion. Stay true to yourself. It won't matter how much money you make, because you will be happier just knowing you're making a difference.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually just went onto the emails to see what it was. What
was
the
it?
company was. So the company's called.
Shout them out.
Yeah, the Ilex Wood. That is actually what the company's called.
Oh, I'll check them out.
The Ilex Wood. So you will have to check them out. Yeah, maybe I'll add a link. She's got Facebooks and stuff. She's got like social. So maybe I'll like add a link in like the description of this video when we put it out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the company. That was the company. But yeah, that's in reality, like when we do these episodes, and I learn from just different people's experiences and their journeys and whatnot, and I like to pick out different things that I think are important for people to understand. And I guess that's again it's kind of a common factor in the people that I've been speaking to. But one of the main things I'm taking from you is that, you know, you're just doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for
trying. You're
trying, but like when it is for the right reason and it's just so natural, it comes natural and it's not forced. It's not like you're trying to do it because that's what you know you should do. I'm doing it.
No.
I'm actually just doing it. You're not even really trying. You're doing what you're doing and you're doing it well, but because just the right reasons are naturally there instilled in you as part of your ethos, as you said.
Yeah, I think it's a good ethos.
Yeah.
I don't want any kids being sad.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've seen that in a lot growing up
Yeah.
in gyms and stuff.
Sure, everyone sees it. So you know, anything that you're doing, obviously what you are doing to combat that is commendable.
Thank you.
But again, this is why I've been inviting you to come on and speak with me, because it's these type of things that we want to highlight and obviously encourage from other people if they've got ideas of things that they want to do and how they want to kind of encourage or help younger people or whatever, like just kind of almost giving them an insight into the route.
I think it is hard, especially in the, I said earlier, like society pressure. It is so hard to just go, I'm just going to do what I want to do. It's really hard. Yeah. But I do encourage more people to do it. Yeah. I think it's important. As long as you remain true to yourself and your passion, and you keep hustling. It's so important to keep hustling and keep evolving and growing. Yeah. Then you'll be fine.
100%.
You'll be fine.
And that is even if you have to step away from it, or you have to do a job, whether it's hairdressing on the side while you're kind of planning out your future in this, like that's.
Is that if you have faith in your business model, whether that's a product or sport or whatever it is, you have faith in it. 100%. Do it. You can't go wrong, because you might not earn as much money at the beginning, but you'll be happier as a person, and happiness is really important. Yeah. Way more important than anything. Literally. Yeah, it really is. That's like you only live once. Don't be sad.
100%. Like if people like this, and this is what I've always said this to myself and to my friends and to everyone, like if people like say what do you want to be when you grow up or whatever, or what's your aim, like whatever, it's just be happy. I just want to be happy regardless of what I'm doing or working or like recreational stuff or friends, just happiness. Like that's really what I want out of life.
It's so important. It's so important, and if you can install that in your staff or your members people, or your clients or whatever, like to me it's just as important that my kids are as happy as my staff, as my parents, within my company. Their happiness is just as important as my happiness. For sure. And they have just as much input in my business as I have in my business, because that's
clientele.
That's the clientele. Yeah. So it's they're all just as important as each other. We are all just as important as each other. Literally. So we'll take, one of our kids might have a great idea, or one of our parents might have a great idea, and as long as you're not scared of change, just run with it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Sure. If it doesn't work, you change it again. And I kind of think that's like our superpower as a company. We're not really scared of change. Good. And we'll try it. If it doesn't work, what's the worst that's going to happen?
That does actually seem to be a reoccurring theme of this chat, actually, that change, not being scared to change and being open to it, and because people can be think that they know everything now and whatnot, but if you've got to learn things or learn new tricks or take on information or suggestions from other people.
Being scared is actually the same as being excited, so if you can just flip it.
Channel it.
just channel it. You'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, well, you got a good thing going on with you and your team, so that's great. So, do you have any extra plans? Like, obviously, you've mentioned the type of disciplines and that you work with and parkour, and obviously you've got this great new facility just at the bottom of Norfolk Road here as well in Reading. So it used to be like Crazy Kids, right?
It used to be Crazy Kids.
Crazy Kids. So I mean, everyone, I think, especially if you've got kids and stuff, you knew roughly where Crazy Kids is. But yeah, just at the bottom of Norfolk Road, that's where the new gym is. I know a lot of people that have mentioned it because they see it.
So
you've got the big sign, right? Like as you come down.
Straight up. As soon as I could get them up, I put them straight up.
Fair play.
Yeah, we took over the premises. And you said earlier we were actually going to get different premises.
Yeah,
you came to see it, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Just like that, okay.
And it just felt wrong.
Fair.
And I think I spoke to you about it. It didn't feel right. I didn't particularly like the neighbours. So yeah, we pulled out, and lucky we did, because then, well, it was a funny story actually. We had a meeting, and yeah, it was all pretty much go, 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 and one of the managers who was with me, I was like, I just doesn't feel right. I don't really want to go for it.
Okay. Got feelings?
Yeah, and she's great. She's we work really well together because we're very different.
Yeah, no, that's key as well.
I will listen to her opinion. She almost gives me the flip side.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll always 100%. I trust her with my life, so I'll take her opinion on board. And she was like, we're planning for that place for about a year, and it cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if we pull out now, we're gonna lose it. And I was like, it just doesn't feel right. And to some extent, she did agree as well. So we were like, right, cool, let's look for something else. Bear in mind, we've been looking for 5 years, and we looked everywhere. There was nothing. I think the other place, they wanted a decision by like 24 hours, and we were like, right, we need to find something, or we're gonna have to go for it. And
not really
our gut just wasn't really feeling it. And then I rang an estate agent that I contacted like maybe a year before. I was like, have you got anything? Like, there wasn't really anything on their website. I'm just going to call you on the off chance. And he was like, yeah, actually, we're going to put one on the market tomorrow, Crazy Kids. I was like, I'll take it.
It was like that, yeah?
I was like, I'll take it. Because I've taken my kids there, so I knew where it was. I knew stuff. I was like, oh, I'll take it. He was like, do you not want to come and look it? I think he thought I was crazy. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to take it. And I don't think he really took me seriously, which is a whole different topic. I think being a woman in business, especially in commercial property, which is very male dominated, I think he thought I was just a bit away with the fairies.
Interesting.
But yeah, we went and looked at it the next day, and yeah, I was like, I'm going to take it. Yeah, I'm going to take it.
Good. Again, adapting. Just
yeah,
go with a slight change, even if it
meant
a slight loss.
Lost loads of money. So it's like, I'm over it now. Forget about that. Can't dwell on that. We've got to move on. We've got this place which is bigger, better, great location, better car park. Sorry, nicer neighbours.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Rolled with it. Rolled with it. So smashed it all out. Completely refurbed it. Obviously, way bigger project than I anticipated it was, but we did it, and it was great. It was all working out. So it's purpose built, and we've split it into 3 areas. It was really important to me, as I said earlier, to have all disciplines were equal, because in most gyms, gymnastics is the dominant sport. And to us, that's gymnastics is important, but so is aerobics, and so is parkour. Like, everyone's as important as the other. So you could come in for an hour a week and be a 2-year-old. You're just as important to us as a 14-year-old elite gymnast who trains 15 hours a week.
And you do adults as well, right?
Yeah, you come in. When you come in. You're dodgy.
You're dodgy. I can play football with it, so I can do gymnastics. Might help it.
So everyone's just as important. I think the next sort of plan within the next year, there's still a few more things I want to do in the gym. So the parkour facility, I want to, the parkour section, I kind of want to extend it a little bit, a bit more structural work. We had to sort of make a decision when we were building. I don't do parkour, so I'm never going to make decisions about parkour, even though it's my company. I know my strength. Everyone, if you know your strengths, you can't do everything. If you have a business, you can't do everything. You can't be the best at everything. So it's really important to delegate, or to get, like we were saying earlier, get feedback from people who are good at that.
Yeah, sure.
So we built a quarter of it, the parkour area. You know, the rest it's done, but not to how I want it.
Yeah.
So we've built the structure for a quarter of it, and then I kind of want people. We have like quite a few professional stunt people come and train there, and we obviously have the kids that train there, and the adults, like you said, and our coaches are fantastic parkour athletes. They're great. So I kind of wanted them to train on it for a couple of months before then we look at the expansion, because it's important to me that I give them what they want, because I don't train in there, so I don't know. So I think in December we'll sort of have a meeting and get feedback from everyone who's been using it and say, you know, we're gonna build the next section. What do you want? Same with the aerobics area. I kind of want to put mirrors and ballet bars in, and then the gymnastics area I want to like spring the floor. So
you got
that's
plans.
sort of the next plan over the next year.
That's good.
Yeah, I think longer term, maybe a franchise would be great.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Franchise would be great. But at the moment, how I feel at the moment is obviously it's been a bit overwhelming. I'm a bit like, oh, you know, could I do that? But I think I'll sit on it,
relax and just enjoy.
I'll sit on it, and maybe that's something for the future.
That's fine. That's good. Well, you got like obviously a little plan to keep you ticking over, because I know you can't sit still and stuff. So that's fine. That's good.
Which is a negative and a positive.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But at least, and a good thing as well that you mentioned is obviously you've got plans that you kind of think of, but you're kind of getting that input from the people that would effectively use it. So again, another great game plan or part of your personality that will just contribute to your success. So
thank you.
Well done. That's literally what these a lot of what these episodes are going to be about. Just giving people their flowers really for what they're doing, and just telling you to keep doing what you're doing, and obviously giving people that are interested in doing anything just kind of an insight into what goes into these type of things and the journeys that go behind it, because a lot of people will see, you know, a great successful thing and think it just happened overnight, but obviously we know that's not the case.
We know that's not the case.
Know that's not the case. So I hope that people that, whether you're just interested in hearing the journey, especially when you don't usually hear that from certain people, you just see the people behind the business and whatnot, and not actually understand them. So whether you're just interested in listening to that story, or whether actually you're trying to take little bits and bobs to use in your field or whatever you want to do, I hope that you found this video interesting. I definitely have.
Did you?
Yeah. As a friend, and just learning new bits. So
learning new bits, even though we're friends.
Exactly, and that's what it's going to be. Every time I speak to someone different. So yeah, that's what I'm taking from it. Hopefully, you guys are taking something too. We will be back with another episode with another friend. Thanks for joining.
Who have you got next?
I cannot tell you that. I've got a whole list of people lined up.
You?
Literally, like I've got like multiple people lined up. So literally, we're putting these out pretty much every month. So they'll be coming out. Probably at least once a month. Probably even more than that. But we've got, if we're doing once a month, we've got like the whole next quarter sorted. Like plus.
Oh, brilliant! That's really
6
good.
months.
That's really good.
Easily. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll be back again, whether it's a month or soon, with another one. Speak to you then.